Hi guys, got a request here from Abhishek Sharma. Apologies if I've got your pronunciation wrong. He wants a simple radio controlled car that uses a servo for the steering. So I'll just clear away what I'm working on and see if I can make a very simple little radio controlled car. Because I need a servo for this boat, so I can use that servo for the car first and then put it on the boat afterwards. To make the radio controlled car, I'm going to modify this old little electric powered car that I made a while ago. I'm actually going to change the motor because I want to be able to control the motor with radio control, and I'll put steering on it. So I'll probably use CDs for the front wheels, but I need to rig up a steering assembly that we can control with a servo. So the first thing we don't need is this. Right, for the steering we need two separate axles, one for the left, one for the right, that I need to bend out of some wire. Something like this bicycle spoke will probably do. We need it to be pivoted, which I can probably use a bit of plastic tubing if I can find some. I'll have a look in a minute. But this will have to be a sort of a Z shape. I'll just draw what I'm talking about. Something like that. So the wheel goes on there. We have a tube here for it to pivot on, and then the servo will actually push against that arm. I managed to find a couple of little plastic tubes. They're quite stiff plastic in my scrap box, not quite sure where they came from originally. So I need to fit them on the corners. This cardboard chassis is very weak, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue a piece of scrap wood on the front there and then glue these onto the end of the wood. This is the steering with the bent bicycle spoke. I've got some plastic beads on there just to help make sure it doesn't bind against any of the bends. So the wheel is free running. I've got a plastic bead on the outside to hold it in place, another plastic bead, a right angle bend, plastic bead, then that plastic tube I found, and then another right angle bend at 90 degrees. So if I can just hold that in place temporarily, that's how we're going to get our steering. Only it won't be quite as much as that because it won't be moving that far. It'll be more like that. What I'll do is I'll put another bend on there, vertically upright, and then we can put a bar across the two steering bits, and then the servo can move the bar. That's the final bend. So now I've got to do the same thing, mirror shaped, mirror format, so it's the opposite way round for the other wheel. I've hot glued the plastic tubes in place. So now we need to connect these up. I've got a wooden drink stirrer, this is. I think it'll be strong enough. Need to drill a couple of holes in it at the right position. It's just a little bit too long at the moment, I think. But the holes need to line up there. That's got our push rod in place, or whatever you want to call it. So now we need to attach a servo to the middle of that. Right, we're nearly there. I've just temporarily put a servo tester on there, and a battery, and a BEC. Well, actually it's a ESC, but it'll do. And there's our steering. I've left it all very loose so I can take it all apart again, because I want to use these bits for a different project, but that should do. So I'll put a electric motor on there that we can control with the ESC, and put a radio receiver on there, and we can try it all out. In the kitchen, all up together. I'll give you a close-up of it in a minute, but we'll just see if it goes forwards, backwards and turns. Yes, there is a high-pitched whine from the ESC. Nothing I can do about that. So, forwards, backwards, and steering. The noise, or at least the squeaking noise, is the rubber band slipping on the pulleys. I wonder if we can go through the legs of the chair. Clever stuff. So, job done. I've just realised on the camera you didn't see me go through the legs of the chair. I wasn't up high enough. Let's adjust the camera. Let's do that again. Whoa, too fast, no brakes. So, success. A radio controlled car, about as basic as you can get. Summary time, what have we got? We've got a very basic cardboard chassis. Originally this was a rubber band powered car that I then put an electric motor on with this nice big pulley. For this little project today, for radio control, we've modified the front end. We've got bent bicycle spokes here, a bit of plastic, a bit of wood to stiffen it up a bit because the cardboard was much too weak. A wooden coffee stirrer as the cross piece. Servo, bent paper clip to link up to the steering. At this end, a pulley made out of styrofoam, and a pulley on the motor made out of a little toy wheel. Rubber band's a little bit loose on there, which is why we were getting some noises. Electric motor comes out of a hairdryer, and then here we got a 2S LiPo battery, an electronic speed controller that gives us forwards and reverse, and a radio receiver. That's the aerial for the radio receiver. And that's it. A nice, simple, very basic radio controlled car using a servo, a single servo, ordinary aeroplane servo for the steering. Job done.